Matchup tonight here late in the season of Top of the Valley between Octaviano Borrego and Jason Fick. All right, as they're getting started here, they are playing 10 ball today, race to 11. No weight given. I believe they are going, I think they're heads up here. It looks like they are. The Salado rack being presented there by TAVO, showing it off. Salado coming out with these brand new racks here recently. We're gracious enough to make sure Distinguished Billiards got them since we are combined in sponsorship. And we're happy to receive them and support Salado as much as Salado supports us. All right, TAVO racking. He won the lag. Lag being very important here as well because if these two gentlemen go to a hill battle, 10-10, one rack left, winning the lag gets you the opportunity to break, and it becomes so important because then you have the opportunity to potentially control the table and win on the hill. And these gentlemen have played a few times in Top of the Valley, and often, or at least a few times, they have gotten to where they are on the hill and have had some pretty exciting matches. So we're looking for to see some of that excitement here today. Tavo coming in for the break. Tavo is going to be the table, and like many pool players, he's going to have two cues: a break cue, a shooting cue, and potentially a jump cue and stuff of that nature. So Tavo here to start off the match with the first break. Let's take a look what he does here. See what kind of movement he gets. He's coming into the. You have to come into that head ball. You got to hit the one ball first, and see what kind of movement he's going to work out here with his break. There's different breaks to it that you can use as well. Some come deep from the side, some come from the middle. I actually come in because I've been working on a break where you come in from the two diamonds up and one diamond out, and trying to pop the one ball in the side. Some people use that break, but other people use different breaks. So let's see what he produces with his break. Currently making sure his cue is chalked up and ready to go. All right. Drops one ball to the bottom corner pocket. All right, so four ball. Two ball ties up though with him some. So you'll see the two ball right here. It's not the best place to put that. Still working on some of these adjustments with some of these new features EvoSports has introduced, which are very nice, but the two ball being right there inside that angle. He's probably going to be working on the push here unless he can see the edge of the ball. And the push shot being an opportunity for him to give a look for Jason Fick, but really not let Jason Fick have the table or potentially give it back to him. All right, so Jason can probably see just the edge of the two ball, and I'm going to expect a safety out of Jason Fick here. Just glance the two. Don't let it go too far, but see that leaks out. Jason's not going to be happy with that safety he attempted because he opens up the opportunity for Tavo to come into the ball and drop it in the pocket through this angle. So, and then of course after that he has to work on the three ball, which is right here. And so he's going to be looking for shape on that to see if the three ball clears it where it goes. Because of the traffic of the table that's right here, it really creates a lot of difficulty that Tavo has to kind of experience through getting shape. Let's see what he does here. All right, and I feel like what happened there is he never really found a shot, and he went for what I would like to call or not like to call a try, because even if you're trying, you should be focused on doing. So hopefully he was focused on doing, and the execution just didn't produce, versus trying and not quite getting it. So Jason got a look at the three ball, but he really doesn't have a lot of a pocket for it. Yeah, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, obviously you're going to see to the top of the valley for first place. To take the first leader spot at the top of the valley here, and it's really more of a prestige thing because at the end you do a round robin, which is where all the players play each other from one, two, three positions, and the player with the most wins between all three of them ends up being the winner of top of the valley. Unless we do have an unless though here, ladies and gentlemen. These two gentlemen have a big potential match coming up. And what that match looks like is in the spring version of Top of the Valley, TAVO, Octaviano Borrego, won that and took the belt from Jason Fick. There's a belt that is a wrestling style belt. It's like an 8 or 9 pound belt that you get to sign and hold on to while you're the champion. And so right now, Tavo has that belt at his house in his pool room. And previously, Jason Fick had it. Jason wants it back in his pool room, and he's coming hard to get that. So if Jason Fick, that was a very nice shot on the three ball. Let's see what kind of shape he gets on the four. He's going to roll past it. Ooh, he does not. He does not like that. He might have to jump this shot. Okay, so however, if Jason Fick can win top of the valley in the round robin at the end, we will go to a sudden death match in late December where Jason Fick and Tavo play for the belt in a final battle. And obviously, anyone looking for a really nice action where all the stakes are on the line wants that to happen, including myself, because what a beautiful thing to happen for Top of the Valley. So Tavo jacked up with his jump cue. He's going to push down on the ball to get it up and over the 7 ball, which doesn't quite get there. And as Tavo knows, and what he's feeling right now, you get a little better timing coming down into the ball, and it's very difficult to execute and be perfect at. And players at different levels are working it in different ways. Tavo generally a pretty solid jumper, so not always expected him to hit that jump so weak in the timing. So Jason Fick's going to put the 5 in the corner. He's going to look to time the 6. I believe he's going to be. Oh, I thought he'd be working to put the 6 up here, but he chose not to. He was able to get enough forward momentum to get the 6 to the side. He's going to take a nice angle on the 7. 7 obviously going here. At least 2 pool players and people that understand the game. He's going to let it drift up. He's really willing to take anywhere on the table out here. Like he got it. It could be up or down the table. It's all manageable to come off the ball and reshape the 9 like he has done there. Now he did get a little straight. I'm looking to see him power draw. That is the wrong icon. I'm growing here with EvoSports. Exactly. I was going to say he's looking to draw this back here. And he got perfect for what he wants. So that's a phenomenal execution of a draw shot for Jason Fick. He's come forward. Let it get to rail. He barely got away with that. If you notice how that ball hit here and then ended up going here, it still got into the pocket, but he could have just as easily have not made that. So Jason has to be careful of doing that. Of course, over there on the wall where you see Jason Fick walking there is the EvoSports touchpad, and he marked his win. So this is an alternating break format as well. There's 2 different formats that are standardly used. You've got the alternating break, which means whoever wins the lag gets to go first. They get the break on the hill, and then it goes back and forth. Versus winner breaks, which is in the past had been pretty much traditional. It's not as traditional now to see that, but it does still happen. And what you'll see happen if it's winter break is you'll see the better player that night run away with it typically and not give the opportunity for the other player to battle as much. So here with this alternating break format, you get to see players battle and make the competition just a little more tight. All right, so Jason Fick to break. Jason coming out from the side. I was warming up with Jason Fick earlier too. His break he was wavering a little bit. He kind of got it dialed in a little bit. So let's see how his break's working now that he's in competition. He's got the pressure on him. He knows he's battles with Tavo really well, but he knows he can't let up. You have to control the break. All right. So Not the break that he would hope for, especially with the amount of balls that end up tied up in this area. That just makes this table just a lot of trouble to deal with. And with that, you're going to probably start to see some table control battles and some safety battles early here. TAVO tied up right here. He's got to deal with getting through this and contacting the one, and the one ball that's over here is going to have to contact the rail after the cue ball hits it clean. So, but no, TAVO's going for the push. Okay, so the push shot after the break. If nothing goes in or something does go in, either player then has the opportunity to do a push shot and try to maintain table control. But here where TAVO looks like he left a line for Jason to hit that one ball right there. So Jason's going to look at his safety off of this shot. Maybe try to get the one ball over this direction and see if he can't get the cue ball buried in here and not leave him with. Let's see if he does that. A nice push on the ball. You're going to go heavy with it. Oh, okay. Instead, he used the carom off the 5. Okay, carom being that balls contact and then move a certain direction away from each other. And that's what happened there. So, all right, redirection safety from Jason Fay. TAVO has an opportunity to cut this, but cue ball control becomes a big issue if he tries to cut this. And where he would want to cut this to, I believe, would be not that rail right there. All right, so working with some of the features, but to this pocket. But I think he wants to try to bank it and have cue ball control. He's probably going to safety though. Oh wow, okay. So TAVO using the 1-2 ball carom to pot the 2. He's at the table still, so we called that. And now he has a pretty clean shot on the 1, but we got to start looking at the 3 ball here because I believe he potted the 2 unless it was the 4. Little bit right now dealing with the colorblind commentator, but I think if I'm correct, this is the 4 ball and not the 2 ball, which still makes this table a big challenge because of the 3 ball being right there. So TAVO opted for a safety. And a really solid way to always go with a safety that's going to lead you well if you have the table position to do so is to leave the cue ball on the rail down here or the object ball and put the cue ball away from it because you limit the bank opportunities as well as the cut opportunities to your other player can only try to safety better than you. All right, so a scratch there, I believe, by TAVO. Jason Fick taking ball in hand. I think Jason's going to still look at a safety opportunity here. And that's a really nice safety from Jason. So TAVO looking at a 2 to 3 rail kick to get to the 1 ball. He does impact the 1. Now he leaves a situation here where Jason's going to have to come this way to impact to the 1 ball, and you can see him execute that there very well. But he leaves the 1 ball really open for TAVO. So I'm curious if TAVO is not going to come into the 1 ball here to use this ball to get the cue ball out this direction and not misdirect the 1 off this route to here. Something of that nature. There's a lot of different opportunities. It's how the player feels, how you use your stroke. Might see a lot of touch action here with this. I believe Tobble's probably going for maybe, I don't know, a bridge here. So the bridge is the extension of your hand. So when you can't get your hand into the correct placement because the distance of the table is wrong, you're going to bring up the bridge, which will assist in holding the cue in such a way that you can execute. And that's exactly what's happening. All right, I'm getting some feedback from people out there watching the stream that maybe the drawing feature on EvoSports is not correctly working at the moment. So I'm going to stop speaking like you could see what I was doing because I was actually drawing on the screen or putting motion stuff that would indicate what I'm looking at. So instead I will just vocalize it with audio. So with that, Jason looking to bank shot to the one ball. He needs to hit the one and he just needs to hit a rail afterwards. And he does not do so. So Jason really wanted to get contact with the one ball and then hit a rail afterwards. And that would create a situation where you don't give your opponent ball at hand. But however, here that creates a foul. So the foul being you didn't contact the ball and nothing contacts the rail after impact. So now TAVO at the table gets ball in hand. I believe the 4 balls still on the table, the 2 balls not on the table. So TAVO has to deal with a 3 ball next, which is over by the side pocket by the 7 ball, I believe. I think he wanted to get a little better alignment to see it, and he's got multiple problems to deal with now because the bank shot would be really natural, but the 4 ball is in the way of that natural path. Had the 4 ball been out of the way, he could have done a bank shot and comboed the 3 to the 7. Now he's going to have to over adjust and start to counter spin the ball. You're going to look at the spin. He does make contact with the 3 and a rail, so that was a really good shot from TAVO. So now Jason does have an opportunity to cross bank the 3 or 3-9 combo, but he's going to safety and try to keep that ball there. He does not want that 3 to fall in. There is a thing in 10 ball, which is what they're playing, called an option. So had Jason Fick had dropped that 3 ball with that safety shot, TAVO would then have the option to say, I don't want to shoot, and make Jason deal with the problem. So, but instead, it didn't go in, and it was a good safety. TAVO looking to mass save the ball, creates spin by driving it downward into the table with a rotational force, and that's all that really is. And it's a skill that you have to master through an ungodly amount of hours of doing it. But once you can do it and you understand it, it's a big tool to use during a match at this level. So Jason going to cut the 4, try to get shape on the 5 off one row. See, now this is what a big problem that pool players have, including myself. You see Jason moved, he kind of did what we call kind of dogging his stroke versus popping up. He just never what that means though is he really never settled down and executed. And that's what it takes, to be consistent. Is you have to do it perfectly every time, robot precision, settle down and execute. TAVO with a brilliant attempt at a bank shot there, though. Came up a little short, but still got contact, still got a real after contact, so it's going to leave him with kind of a free safety. So Jason trying to re-safety again, use the 10 ball to block contact to the 4, but looking at the table right now, I think TAVO can see the 4, and you're going to see another safety. And there's many pool players, at different levels, but certainly at the amateur level, that don't like working with a safety battle. But 10 ball is a game of execution of how well you can play pool at every level. It's a masterful game that just takes such a high level of perfection to do it well. And if Jason called that shot that he just did there, that was a very good kick shot. Well executed. We'll see who's at the table next to see if that was correct. And it looks like Jason's still at the table, so he says, yeah, I called that. So that was very well executed by Jason Fay. A little bit of body movement once again by Jason, and I feel like he should have made that shot, but that's the adjustments he's going to have to start making as the match goes on, and we'll see who makes better adjustments later in the match. And that's kind of how these things work. It's like any other sport, football, basketball, baseball. Where are the adjustments, and how well can you do them? So with 10 ball, with those adjustments, and speaking on the matters of what it looks like to just execute at that level of consistency, I really believe Jason was trying to make that 5 ball. That might have been a safety attempt, but looking at the 6 balls in the center of the table, the 7 balls by the side pocket, I think he wanted to make that, but he did get away with it if that's the case. So yeah, TAVO running into it. I don't really like how much TAVO rushed going into that shot. He never did the work to tie the cue ball up somewhere. And as I know TAVO will watch this later and see that and understand that better. So that's for you, TAVO. I'm not judging you, man. Just helping you. I do it just the same. I make that mistake a lot. So Jason's going to soft that in. Drove it a little bit. He's got the 7 on the side. He's going to look at the 8. He might try to put the 8 in the opposite corner. Just kind of soft roll or stop shot. The 7 on the side. Just like that. Came up a little ugly for him. He doesn't like it, but he's going to be okay with it. He might have to use a little more stroke than he wants to, and that's what had to happen there. I expect the 10 ball to go in the opposite side pocket. We'll see what he does with it. He's got many opportunities. So where he's at, the side pocket where he's at, I would think he might go there, but no. Okay, he didn't want to slow down the ball. But you see, he ends up steep on the 10 to the corner. Probably not ideal, but manageable for a player at Jason's level. Now, Jason, I've known him for a few years now. We play a lot of pool. He's been playing pool for over 35 years, so he's got a lot of tricks in his pocket, a lot of shots in his zone. So sometimes you'll see him do things the way he likes to do them. Sometimes I feel like they're unorthodox, and sometimes he feels like I'm an orthodox. But we're all working to do the best version of what we need to take. So TAVO to rack with the Salado rack. Salado coming out with their own rack here recently in conjunction with some of the people they're working with, and it's a nice rack. Jason hadn't had the opportunity to really play with one, I guess, until today. I thought he had, but I just learned that today. And when we were playing a little bit earlier before this match, he really liked it, and we had some good discussions about it. It has a good robustness to it. It doesn't want to bunch up or slide too much like a lot of other template racks do. And we're using the template rack, obviously in place of the traditional rack that was around the ball. And with those racks, it was inconsistent. The template rack stacks the balls together in a way that's very consistent. And so that's where it's really taking over now. And so it really becomes like the foundation, I think, of what racking balls looks like for the future of billiards. And I can support that because I support the consistency. Many things in life that we do rely on how consistent you can be. And billiards is a game of only that. It's all it really takes. You just have to do small things well consistently. But you have to put so much into it and so much into the work to get to the level of the small things. It's often once you get to the level of these players and even much higher than them, how well you do the little things, how well you do the 10%, the 20%, the things that matter. And I think that aligns with so much in life. Work to be great at the 80%, and then work to be even better at the 20%, the 10%, the 5%, the 2%. And that's what makes great pool players great. It's not free, it's not easy. It's rent you pay every day. All right, so Jason Fick at the table here. Now Jason coming, he's up 2-0 right now on TAVO. Early in the race though, no player is actually thinking about that, or no player that's competitive. That's not like in your head that I'm down two, because at any moment the momentum can shift, and both of these players know that. Jason Fick, who's at the table right now, knows that there's no moment in this match that he can let up. He's fought in battle with Tavo at the table. He knows what Tavo can do if he lets the momentum shift. And Tavo's right now sitting over there, away from the table, and I hope he's sitting there with a clear head, just waiting for his opportunity to be part of what's next. For his opportunity at the table as he works through his shot availability that comes to him. So here, Jason, I don't know if he was going for the five there actually, or if that was a safety, but he did get a safety either way. So Tavo does have a lot of opportunities to impact the five, but making the fiver gets very difficult because he needs to come from the side of the table completely away from Tavo and bank it to cut it into the pocket. But I don't think he's going to get that opportunity here because the window's not there. So he's going to probably just execute a re-safety. And that's what he does there. And the six ball almost gets back into play. It almost gets to the safety. But we're twice now at what I want Tavo to hear, which is he did not do the work to put the cue ball where it needs to be. And Jason Fick will do that very well. And I'm learning this every day and working on it every day to become a level of player that can beat Jason Fick. And any player like him or above him. But those are the things you have to work on as well as many others is understanding you need to know, understand, and execute putting the cue ball where it should be. And as you saw, Jason Fick increase his timing between those three shots when he got to the third shot. He did not know where the cue ball was going to land. He thought he knew, and then he hit the ball. And you notice that he ended up putting the 10 ball between the cue ball and the 8 ball, and he's suffering now for that because he had to try to kick at it and pot it in the corner, which he rattled it. He got close, but he also did not know where the cue ball was going to land. He just went for it. Both players, I think, could benefit from learning a little more momentum shift of that, as well as myself. I'm not here trying to be the judge or the jury because I'm worse at it than they are, but I'm working on it every day too. And that's a beautiful shot by Tavo. Really, the shot he should have taken to execute to perfectly not have to do anything less or more to get Shackleton 10 ball. And I wanted to be very silent there because I did not want to induce any level of commentator curse or anything that people find controversial about those sort of things. Because yeah, he should have made that, but Jason Fick going to deliver a safety for Tavo here. Now Tavo could re-safety, but he has an opportunity to cross bank this 10 ball. You have to overthin it, but you got to commit to where he's okay. I think he's going to just say, "I'm just safety." Nope, he's calling it to the corner pocket for a bank. It's a good attempt at a bank. It's solid, strong. You want to be careful of cue ball and object ball speed there to not leave something like this, but he does still leave it long. But I'm sure you would prefer the cue ball be on the rails. Jason Fick cannot hit the center of the ball. And there, Jason Fick delivers a final blow in that match. So early here, Jason Fick going up 3-0. No, should not be pressure on Tavo being down 3-0. Tavo should still feel fine. He should, but he's got to start working on finding some confidence and finding some some ability to settle down and think about what he's doing. He's really good at that. When he won Top of the Valley in the spring, his precision of execution from every shot and his timing was phenomenal. He delivered like a champion. And I hope he can start finding that gear here in this match tonight. I really do. He has it in him. I believe in him. And he believed in himself when we were talking earlier. He was ready for this win. So Jason picked a break. This alternating break format. Drops two balls in each side pocket, or one ball in each side pocket, two balls total. Does not get a good look at the one ball being down table where he broke, but it's clean. He can hit it. So you're not going to see a push here. Push being that you can do whatever you want with the ball. It's about table control at this point. 10 ball, you shoot them in order 1 through 10. Executing table control at this level for 10 ball is key of holding the table. And Jason Fick doing what he does well, he ties it up. I think behind the 2 could be the 4 over there, but I think it's the 2. But he ties that up so well that TAVO's opportunity of hitting the 1 is lower, but possible because the 9 is not blocking it. So he's going to try to hit it. Does not impact it. Again, he would have to impact the 1 and then impact a rail with anything thereafter impact to create a non-foul situation. But all right. So he fouled. Jason Fick looking at the table. Now, 10 ball, earlier when they played a match before, there was a big thing with the 3 foul. So there is a thing in this game called 3 foul. Whereas if you can make a player foul 3 times in a row, you win that game. And it's difficult to do because players can't hit the balls very well and make contact and hit the rail. But there's a little bit of gesturing with it as well because you have to let them know when they're on 2. So if they get 1 and then you do a safety and then they get a second 1, you do have to say you're on 2 and then work on executing that third foul. And if you get that third foul, you get a win without actually doing anything else. So, but this table didn't really dictate that. You're usually looking to do that when the table just isn't quite playable well, to where you can't get shape, you can't get the balls moving in directions that make you feel comfortable. But Jason Fick has a table that's comfortable. He doesn't like where he got with the 6 ball, but it's manageable. So he's going to have to settle down and make this shot go his direction. Really worked the outside edges of the points in that corner pocket to reshape the cue ball, but he put himself in about the same shot again. So you're going to see him likely punch the ball, hit it just a little hard, and overspeed it. He could hit it soft and spin it a lot too, but either one to get down table for the night. Let's see which one he does. Yeah. Always a danger, and that's the thing. I think what happened there is he never committed to either one of those shots. So if you're going to do the punch shot, you know you're coming up 2 to 3 inches short of that corner pocket for scratching to let it spin down table the shape of the 9. However, on the other side of it, if you're cutting it, you know you're overspinning the direction and letting it drift off the second rail to shape on the 9. But you got to commit to one of them. You can't be in between. And that's what happened there, I believe, for Jason. Me knowing what his abilities are, I think that's what happened. So TAVO not quite getting the speed to the 9. Struggling a little bit with shape tonight at the moment, TAVO has been. I hope he finds a little more balance with it, to be honest. He's got to cut the 9, come 2 rail shape to the 10, I believe. You could do it 1 rail, but maybe you should do 2. Yeah, once again, if you look at the rushness of the shot, which again, I'm gonna tell you folks, I'm doing the same thing. I have the same problem and I'm working on it every day. So no judgment to you, Tavo. I'm right there with you, brother. But if he put the work in a little bit better, he would have gotten that shot where he wants it. But it's always easier to say that when you're looking at the top view of the table in a different room. Very manageable shot here, actually. Tavo can actually rail first, so cut this rail first, top it inside English. He's doing that well, but he's want to spin to the ball. A little dangerous with the way he went about that, and that's what happens. I'm not going to say I'm correct, but I'm going to say I know this. I believe if he had been about another half a tip to a tip inside angle and cut the ball with a lot of inside left spin, he could have shaped the ball to the bottom right side of the table really naturally and not had to do very much of a stroke. It would just naturally get to that side of the table. Harder to see that though at the table, and also harder to do that shot if it's not something that's like in your daily repertoire. Because many players want to draw shape from a lot of those shots, and if you're not practicing using more of those forward shape Englishes, it really becomes a struggle because you can't quite push the ball to that side of the table, and that's what you're doing there. You're not hitting the ball. You're actually timing your acceleration later and pushing the ball and pushing the spin into the ball to get it to two rails to shape to that side of the table. And I know Tavo, he always goes back and reviews these and thinks about it and always says thank you to me or Jason or whatever he gets out of it. So it's something for him to think about, applying and to see what he likes about it or not. He doesn't have to love it, he doesn't have to like it, but knowing it's an option is always a good place to be. Okay, so Tavo to break here. Nice power. Doesn't quite. Maybe the two ball goes to the corner. I think that was the two ball. Yeah, that is the two ball to the corner. One ball looks clean. Three, four, five. Needs to shape three, obviously. Now Tavo does have a runnable table here. There's a little bit of work, a little bit of speed control to deal with. In runnable table means that he can make all the balls in order. Put a check mark beside his name. Four, no, you're starting to feel it now. He really needs to focus and start to get a point beside his name here so that he feels like he's in this thing. Because as the weight creeps up, there's a certain point where you don't feel like you're in it. And if you watch that, you can see he tried to drive that ball, and you can see his body shift, and you saw the cue go left and right, and that transfers to the ball, and yeah, it doesn't go in. I mean, it could have gone in, but it isn't here. So Jason, you're going to see a little bit of speed control, and that's some of the differences in the ability of players that he's got a really solid feel for touching the ball instead of hitting the ball. And knowing which version of that to use has very little nuances. Remember, it's a game of small movements at this level. The higher the level, the smaller the movements. How well can you do each of those movements? So back cut the ball. He's got options of how he wants to not run into too many of these balls and make and risk balls tying up. So he wants to try to not make sure that 9 ties up on the 10 or the 8. So he could thin this with inside English, top English, which he might try to do, and shape the 6 across the table. And that was another option I was going to speak on, is that you can drive the 9 towards the bottom rail, which he did, and put it in a position like that. And he was fortunate to not tie up on the 10. Either one of those versions are risky because back cutting with thin inside spin gets you better shape, but making it work is low percentage but possible. I think he hit the correct percentage shot, but it does come with a risk. Now he could use top English, but I think he's going to use draw lower on the cue and just draw past the 10 to get shape on the 8. He did not do that. Okay. Like I said, He had two options, and he chose this one. It is the better option to shape the 9, but getting past the angle of the 10 blocking the 8 is, again, very risky. Jason playing pretty risky pull for him, actually, at the moment, me knowing him pretty well. But when you're up 4-0 in a race to 11, you do get the opportunity to go for a few more little things here and there, make those small adjustments, see if you can get them, see if you can get the shape to naturally get out. Because what he did gain by doing this is he gained an easier out. He gained the ability to win easier by getting this shape. Had he had gotten the other shape, he would be fighting these three balls to win. And there, it looks like there might be a little bit of debris on the table. You don't want that in the way of rolling on the ball, but also visually, any little speck on the table often will make your eyes move, and you cannot. That's that small movement. You can't have that small movement issue. You got to get those low percentage situations away from you. So yeah, so Jason will cut this 9, and he could shoot the 10 in the opposite corner, but I kind of expect him to put it in the same corner. He's going to put the 9 in, but let's see what he does. Yeah, he does that. Got kind of dangerously close to touching the 10 a little much. You don't want to run into a ball off that rail and make it difficult. So yeah, a little dangerous on how he got through there, but he got through there just fine. Got shape and got out. So 5-0. All right. So TAVO really starting to feel a little bit something about it. But Jason Fick though at the table to rack alternate break, Solano rack on the table. Solano's racks, they look beautiful. There's two colors. We're using the orange because it contrasts the table better than the blue one I believe we have or whatever. I forget the other color of the other one. This one looks beautiful though. They break beautiful. It's got a good thickness to it. It holds the balls really tight, really well. And again, it doesn't slide when you break. And what I mean by that, since the traditional rack that we've used for so long is kind of going away because it's inconsistent. These template racks are very consistent. But the cheaper ones have a glossy finish, and when they're on the table and you break, the impact of the break makes them slide slightly and can make the break inconsistent. So you even get inconsistencies with a template rack that is of a cheaper quality, but that's not happening here. These things stick to the table, and you get consistency. All right. So Jason impacts the 1 as you do, breaks nothing down. Now Tabo can see the 1 ball, but there's an 8 all the way in the pocket. He's got, opportunities here to decide to combo the 1-8, safety, or push. Push being the option that you choose last because it means you're giving away shot opportunities or table control. It's a gamble. I think he's going for the 8 ball, and he did. Towels, yeah, he's at the point now where he has to start trying to get momentum, and he's got to start playing smart risks, but he's got to play them with confidence and make sure he gets to work correct before he executes. Beautiful shot on the 1 to shape the 2. So he's going to go forward with this 2 ball to shape the 3 to the side pocket, but he wants to come up thinner. So he wants to come up like 2 rails almost, I think, so he can get thin on the 3. And he does not. And I don't know if you saw that. That's always tougher to see when you're actually at the table because we're looking at a bird's eye view, a top view. And so, he's got the 3. He can go down table. He can go to the side pocket. But the 5 and the 10 are just in traffic a little much. He might safety here, actually. Oh, he decided to go for it. But see, that's what I'm talking about. Right there is what happens. And you want to avoid that. Had he have hit that with a little more thin English and came 2 round shape, he could have got a little more of a natural path to get that cue ball to not impact that 5 or that 10 ball. But since that wasn't the execution point he ended up here. So he's calling a bank shot, I believe. He's looking at the corner pocket. It's about all you can really look at here. And what I would like Tawa to start doing is the same thing I'm working on doing, is that as you progress through what he's doing, stop trying and start doing. Start building up confidence and execution. And he did do that well, but if you look at the other shots he's made and the way he does it, you'd see that he pauses, and then there's a timing, and then there's a second little hesitation pause, and then execution of the shot. Whereas there, he didn't build any of that. Then he hits it. He moves his cue off to the left, and it was a try. And we had that conversation before when we were just playing like a couple weeks ago when Tavo was here. Of if he said, "I'm going to try this," and you're not getting better by trying. You're getting better by doing. And doing is using all the work the same way, whether you're going to make it or you're not sure. And it's a hard place to be. It's a hard thing to deal with, but it's what it takes to become a certain level. So Jason not quite getting the speed control in the cue ball that he wanted there. He wanted to tie it behind the 10, but these opportunity here for Tavo to be pretty straight in for the 5. So I would kind of expect Tavo to hit the 5 ball to the corner, let the cue ball drift down table some, shape the 6 to the side, 7 to the other side, 9 in the corner, 10 back where he's at right now on the table. See if he does that. All right, good speed control. He's got the angle. He didn't quite get to the thinner side of the 6, so he's got to worry about running into the 9. Gets really good opportunity there. Now, if you watch Tabo versus the shots you saw him miss, look how well he's executing in his confidence. Look at the work he's putting in. Look at him feel what's happening. But here's where he's comfortable because because he knows he's going to do this well, which is the difference between that and trying. It's a difference of do or do not and do it well. So just work and do it the best you can and learn because that's how you get to that next level with all those shots. The confidence isn't I'm perfect for this reason. The confidence is I'm excellent at knowing how to do something or excellent at doing the work to do something well. Should I say it better? And there he did it. Very well shot, very well executed. And that's the Tavo that we're used to seeing when he's shooting consistently at that high level. But you saw the work he put in every shot. You didn't see any trying. You saw confidence, execution, work, get it done. So yeah, with this alternate break format, here we have Jason at 5, Tavo at 1. Tavo back at the table, putting his hands on that Salado rack, just working well, delivering a break execution that you can count on. It's there when you need it. It's there when you want it. It's there every time, and that's what we're looking for with a good template rack. And if you look at that rack, you see there's a little tail on it, a little tail end that's sticking out there. That's because this rack is made for more than one. You can also use this for 9 ball. If you were playing 9 ball, you would have one less ball. So that spot in the backside of the rack would be where you would have the tail ball. The 9 ball will be in the middle, and there would not be a 10 ball. So, solid break from Tavo. Drops one in the side, cleans it up. Nothing's on the rack. Tavo removing the Salado rack, but he scratches on the break. So not an opportunity that he wants to have to give away, but it was a good break. And Jason Fick looking at the rack here, got the 1 to the 2 transition. Nice table roll, speed control. Rushed into it a little bit for my taste, but let's say I wouldn't be just as fast. It's easy to say you know better when you're fucking watching people. Excuse the language. All right, so 3 to the corner. He's going to let this drift down the table to shoot the 4 to the corner, I believe. That's going to give him a good opportunity to reshape the 7. Let's see if that's what he does here. He does that. He gets underneath the 4 more than he wanted to go. He doesn't like this. if I know what he's thinking. He's going to have to overstroke this a bit to cut the ball to shape the 7, but he's still doing just fine. Oh, he decides to take the risk and go up table. Okay, that's risky because you could bump the 8 or you can get the side pocket doing that. But it's that risky shot where, oh, see, rushed into that, overconfident. That's that's a thing too. You get overconfident, like you just know you got it. And that's what happens. So now TAVO here, in my opinion, he should cut this to the corner pocket, but he should actually overspeed the cue with some spin, so that way it goes 2 rails and shapes the 8. I'm learning to do this better and better because so many players want to hold the ball. He might hold it and it might work, but if you do what he's doing right there, like that, perfect, and he ran into it, that's where he didn't quite get he didn't get the shot confidence into it and didn't get his spin feeling. And he kind of just let up on it a little bit, and you get dangerous with that because had it been spinning faster, it would have missed the 8 and needed perfect shape. But because it wasn't spinning faster, it dies off the rail and slows up, and the spin goes wider, and he ends up here. He still has opportunities to do something. He can come down, drive the ball into the table, and cut it to the corner, and then come off the left hand side rail and shape up tables with the 9. Very difficult. He might be able to thin cut it to the side. I'd probably do the thin cut to the side if I could see it from the other angle, because he could end up going 2 rail shape and getting to the 9 shape there as well. He he might be okay. He might be trying to go 3 rails down table here then, which is another opportunity he can do. Let's see what he gets out of it. But yeah, and that's the thing, Tyler. You see the body movement, and he tried to use a little body English into that. But even if he had made it, the cue ball placement wasn't determined. And here Jason determined early, although he didn't quite put the work in, he knew where the cue ball was going to end up. He just ended up on the back side of that angle. Manageable still, but now he's got to do a lot more with it. And we'll see how this lays out. That went really well, and it was really well executed by Jason. I didn't want to do a commentator curse here because that's why I kind of got quiet with what I was saying because that likes to scratch so easily in the bottom right hand corner pocket. It loves to go to that pocket, and so it was risky, Jason. He really had to put the right amount of adjustment and spin on that to not mess that up. So for those of us that know, we'll give you a golf clap. All right, Jason, pick up 6-1, erase 11. TAVO struggling to find a little bit of balance. Really just not. It's. I think it's just he's just not selling down. And now that Jason has this lead that's starting to go his direction, he's going to start selling down more and more. And it gets more and more dangerous for TAVO too because Jason's really smart with understanding holding that distance with table control. He's not going to try to just dominate and go 11-1. He knows better. And any good pool player should know better, especially at 10 ball. 10 ball being such a complex game of mistakes and execution and small movements. How well can you do the small percentage? Not the best looking break for Jason. He maybe could do something with the 1-5. I believe that's up there. The 1-5. I don't think he's going to get much out of that. He's going to have to safety here. It's the smart play, but which way do you do it? That's what he's probably looking at. He's probably do a touch safety and just try to bury it. No, he did not. He's just going to take what happens. Maybe he felt different about it. Maybe he just knew he'd be somewhere he likes, and he got somewhere he wants to be. But he does leave the opportunity for Tabo to kick at the 1 ball. So you're going to see the cue ball go up the table, bounce off that short rail up there, and contact the 1, and then hopefully something contacts the rail. And TAVO gets a good cue ball movement, gets a feel for it, does do that. But yeah, here we put Jason in a position where he's got shape on the one ball. Now the two balls across the table there on the other side, across from Jason, he might go long and use inside spin to get shape on the two, and he's that's exactly what he's going to try and do. But he didn't make the one, and I know how that happens. How does that happen? You think the one's going no matter what, and you're trying to shape the two, and you're just trying to feel how well you can spin that shape to the two. That's how that happens. And on my YouTube channel, if you go look, I even have a video about this. It's called "Respect the Shot." It's no matter how easy it is or how automatic it feels, whatever it is, it's respect the shot. You have to put the commitment in and the work in the same, whether it's the easiest shot you've ever done or the most audacious thing you're going for. It takes the same amount of work, and it's hard to learn. It's hard to stay consistent at because humans are just struggle with you know small movements and the amount of focus it takes to stay with them when they feel easy. All right, so Tavo at the table, looking to cut the three. I think he should probably safety here. Maybe what he's doing. That is what he's doing. He's looking for a nice safety here, and he does get something decent out of it. Jason has a kick opportunity, but he's got that four ball's really kind of. It's going to play the eight ball's in the way of the angle. The four balls, he's going to go for a jump cue. Yeah, so he has his jump cue out. You can see he's ready to sort of go to the air for make the contact. So yeah, so Tawa now at the table. Jason giving him a little bit of opportunity to do something. That five ball shape off the four demands that he goes wide off the rail, miss the side pocket, get a bounce, and get shape. He wants to stay thin though, so that's what he's looking at right now. Because if he stays thin, and by I mean thin, it's like he stays under the angle so that he can not have to deal with the eight in the path of hitting the five. He gets the opportunity to get multiple angles for the six, and that's where the speed table control is going to be a key factor for him right here. And he comes a little underneath it. He doesn't quite get to the speed he wants, so now he's got to come off the rail and bank him. And this is where he needs to focus because when you're going to try to make the bank, but you see, I don't think he's made the cue ball land anywhere in his pre-adjustments. Maybe he went for a safety, and that's fine too. But if you saw the amount of time he spent with that shot, I don't know that he could tell me where either ball was going to stop. And whether you get it right or wrong, that's the difference of doing and trying. Because Jason Fick, being the strong player that he is, most of the time, even if he's trying, he's going to tell you where it's going to go. Does it go there? No, not always. But was it supposed to go there in his mind? It certainly was. And when you do that over and over again, because as pool players, we're going to play this game at an endless level that makes people frustrated that we play so much. And that's the commitment it takes to be the player you want to be. But understanding that when you're doing those things, are you trying or are you doing? And if I could give advice to anyone is do your best to do and stop trying. That leaked out. And leaking out means he gave Tavo the opportunity to pop this 8 in the side and shape the 10 to the bottom corner and put a 2 beside his name. Use the whole table rail. I don't mind that. I mean, and I don't think many people do because you don't have to decelerate or underdo anything. I like the way he did that. There's a lot of players, and maybe even Jason would say I'd prefer him just hit the other angle and just have a short shape to hit the tens or the corner, and maybe he would. I don't know, and many players are going to say that different ways. But the fact of the matter is he didn't let things get away or underdevelop. He accepted, hey, I'm going to develop this with a little bit more intention, and I know where the cue ball is going to land as a result of that intention. And I think that's a really good way to execute a lot of shots in pool. And as I become a better player, that's one of the things I do as well. Is I look at what my intention is, and am I changing things because I'm afraid of something versus doing it well, and knowing that the ball has to travel, 3 feet to get to the pocket, but I need the cue ball to only travel a foot. But if I underdo things, it's not going to make the distance, or it's going to steer and miss the pocket. But now knowing, okay, it's going to go 3 feet, but if I actually make the cue ball go 7 feet or 4 feet and put it in the same spot by using different spin or different rails, well, now I've done the same thing, but I've done it better because I haven't let things get away from me or undevelop. I've let them become what they need to be in the space. So Tom off the table to break. Nice break. Potted two balls, both in the side pockets. Again, not a good look at the one. And, at this level of pool, and certainly way above this level as well, it gets to the point of how well can you control the break? And it's a lot to think about because, you've got 10 balls in a rack, only two of them are in the same spot. Unless some of the new rules, you get a two and a three in the corners. That's also a rule that's increasing. But either way, you get the one ball in the front, you get the 10 ball in the middle, and then you have the rest of the balls. And ideally, you want to control the one ball because you know it's if you keep it on the table, you can do one thing with it. But then there's other versions of that break as well, which is the one that I've been working on, and many players do use, where I want to break and put the one ball in the side pocket across from where I'm breaking. And I'm getting that break to work really well. But then now you got to start to figure out the two ball, but you also don't have to until you get to the next level. Because until you get to like a higher level of pool, where your skill level is getting close to semi-pro or pro, it's about controlling the table in a rotation game, be it 9 ball or 10 ball. So if you can guarantee you pot a ball and guarantee the ball spread well, now you can accept the table and work on the options because you have a push option and you have ball impact option, which gives you table control. And the better you can get those options to control the table, the better you can continue to produce consistency to win. And the more you work on doing that well, the more you can win. And then when you get to the next level, you can start looking at how you can do it differently, how you can break differently, how you can find the next version of staying at the table while executing. And that's some of my knowledge and feelings for it. But however, top off the table, get a good look at the two. Got to struggle with the three ball though. Let's see what he gets out, what he feels about it, because it's going to take work. He's going to line up. He's going to pot the ball well. So he gets a look at the three, he gets shape on the three, but now the four becomes a little bit of a struggle. He needs to figure out his execution for the four. Put the four on the side or safety. He went for a safety there, and I believe that was probably the best call because I was looking at that option as well, wondering if he was going to feel like that was the avenue he wanted to go down, and it was. So Jason going for a carom to make the eight or combo to make the eight. Now, Jason's got options for the four. He might go forward. He might use draw. I think he's going to go forward because this is how we like to hit this ball typically. And he does. I expected just from watching him play. I expected that out of him. I think he might have been more served to draw the ball because of the angle. He could have put it inside and give him better shape for the 7. But it really becomes your choice at that point. He could have got a better angle out of it, but he's manageable here. I think he opted to safety that because he didn't like the angle. I think he wanted to push inside the angle or work a little on the right hand side of the inside spin, so it reshapes a little tighter, a little thinner. TAVO does have a good opportunity here to get into it. Now he could use top spin and cut it thin and come back straight up the table. You'd see him follow that line that's up the table. Or he can come and hit it, punch the ball to the pocket, and use 2 rails to shape to the 7, put the 7 in the bottom right corner. Let's just see what he does. So he went for the thin shot that I was talking about, but I don't. His stroke wavered some, and just kind of the way he put himself into it just didn't seem to go in his favor. Unless he has a really good shot here, he might sit. I think he can see enough of it, and that's the thing. We've talked about before. I don't have apparently a drawing tool that's showing up for other people, but you often have about a quarter inch more angle to hit a ball than what we can see if you're at the table. So Jason looking at hitting the center, his hesitation is because the cue ball wants to scratch. It wants to scratch in both side pockets. So he was trying to figure out how to hold the ball outside of the pockets, which he did very well there. But he held it a little much. He was extra safe, so now he's going to have to drive into the shot to get shape on the 10. I think the 10 might go to where he's at. That was his goal with the 10 where he's at, and that is the right shot. But if you notice the body movement, just he just wasn't confident about making it. So he was finding a way to get shape, I believe. I could be incorrect, but I feel like he was trying to find a way to get shape through his stroke. He knew what he wanted, he knew how to do it, but just didn't develop. So TAVO stop shot this, let it drift. And when I think about that, so there's a stop shot where you can actually pulse the ball as it impacts. And it's just above or just below center, depending on the shot. But then once you know where the stop shot is, you just change the angle slightly of the cue, and you can make it drift left or right. And that's what TAVO did there. He did it well to get on the board. So 6-3. He's not out of it. He's still in it. I hear Jason Fick laughing there about something. I'm in one room next to them, so I can kind of hear them to some degree. I can certainly hear the balls moving around when they're hitting, and hopefully they can't hear me too much. So Jason Fick the rack, 10 ball, Solano template rack on the table. And like I was saying earlier in the match, as we start to get into the middle of the match, it's when you can start to see how the momentum's working. Start to see what the players are doing, who's doing those small movements better, who's making their safety adjustments better. TAVO really wanting to get to a 4 here. 4-6 would really start to make him feel comfortable. That 3-game difference is a little more apprehension in what he's doing, but I hope he settles down and is doing well with it. Jason's break was good. He potted balls, but the 6 got in the way of the 1. But he has a bank shot. He's got a bank shot that actually shapes the. I hope that's the 2, but he does not. He's not going to go for the bank. He's going to go for a save. Nothing wrong with that. Remember, like I said, like I was trying to say earlier, was the fact that when you get the break, it's about figuring out what you're going to do, keeping the table, how you're going to win. Table control's key, especially 10 ball. Even 9 ball as well, and that went his direction there because TAVO did not impact the 1 ball that I know of yet. He says, there you go, removing the rack, the Solano template rack. It's great for those perfect breaks and the consistency, but can impact ball movement to some degree. So once you can get that out of the way, get it off the table, you wouldn't work to get it off the table. So Jason's got the 2 to the corner. He's got the 3. Really kind of overdoes that a little bit, but the 8 helps him. Looks like a pretty manageable table to run out. You just gotta not let the 6 angle impact the 7 angle too much. You gotta get through the 4. Yeah, see, running into that 7, really not something Jason wanted to do. He was hoping to miss that 7, and he would have perfect shape on the 4. Doing that, now he's going to look at this. He can bank it to the back corner, or he can safety. He's going to safety at this point. It's what he should do. It's just the reasonable thing to do. And he does. I'm sure he was timing that to tie that up on the 6 ball. Didn't happen. So he does leave Tavo a pretty manageable opportunity to impact the 4. Where he does have to hit the 4, and after hitting the 4, he does have to hit a rail, or it is a foul. And he does do so. But also, comparing the timing earlier, and I know it's so difficult when you're playing, it's extremely difficult. These are opportunities that Tavo could use to start to learn to make do adjustments, not try adjustments. So Jason, to get the 6, he can come inside spin, or he can come 2 rails to shake the 7 ball. Let's see what he gets down. Once he places his cues near the ball, I can start to figure it out. I think he's going to come inside, so he's going to go inside spin and shake the 7 like that. Just slow it up. And depending where this lands will determine whether he's going to the side pocket or the corner pocket for the 8 ball, and then determining whether he uses down table or mid table to get shape of the 9. Yeah. I think we should see a draw shot here in shape of the 9. He might use upward spin. Actually, I think he might use upward spin here. But yeah, no, a draw shot. All right. Yeah, that's what I would expect him to do. But he's been doing a little more topspin adjustments. Another draw shot here, just a nice little kiss push. Yeah, there it is. A little bit, just he might stop shot this, but I think he's going to use a little bit of top. You're just a little bit of drift from the cue ball, just a hair. Yeah, he gave it a little more than it needed, but he was confident. So really well executed at Jason Schiff there. Going up 7-3. So 4 more racks for Jason and more racks for Tavo that he wants to talk about. So Tavo down at the table with the alternating break format compared to winner break. No one runs away with it if they're going back to back. And this is where the alternate break format can really come into a player's advantage because now Tavo still has an opportunity to stay in this because he gets to consistently get back to those breaks between the sets. You can have table control and try to chip away at Jason's lead. And that's a big part of the competition that you can kind of gain some momentum with when you have the alternate break format. Because if it was winner break format, Tava would just be sitting there watching Jason go rack and rack and rack. And then when he gets up to the table, now somehow he has to run 5 racks in a row or win 5 racks in a row. Which is very difficult if you're outmatched in skill set with the other player, or just you're just not playing at your level that day. We all wake up on different sides of the bed, and when we wake up on the right side of the bed and we're doing everything great, then there's lots of magic. But when the things just didn't go well that day, the moon's in the wrong spot, or whatever it takes, it's much tougher. And the alternate break gives that opportunity for the other player to just stay in it for just a little bit longer to see if they can figure something out. And that was a nice break by Tavo. Great spread. This is a very nice, manageable table if he can get that 1 ball in. It looks like he can come off the rail to the inside edge of the 1, maybe clear the 3, put some right inside spin or bottom low inside spin on it, or even top left spin, and get impact on the 1 ball. and then start looking at shaping the two. Let's see what he has here. He uses a masse, and it's the same. I just heard the noise from the room that he was happy he made that. So congratulations on making that. That was a really nice masse spin, masse big. You drive the ball into the table some with downward force and inside angle spin. It creates a rotational direction for the ball. Nice dead center of the pocket. Get by it. Get by it. Get. Oh no. No one likes that. Jason doesn't like that to happen. TAVO doesn't like that to happen. I don't like that to happen. You don't like that. Your neighbor doesn't like that. The people on the street. This was a good opportunity, and now maybe he still got enough of it. He got enough to impact it. Hold on to it. There we go. Okay. So there are different variances of rules in 10 ball. Sometimes it's like 9 ball. So 9 ball, if you slop the 9 in, which means this you hit the next ball in rotation and the 9 goes in, you win. That doesn't usually happen in 10 ball, but there's two versions in 10 ball. There's one version where you can combo call the 10 ball, Karam call the 10 ball, and pot it, and that's a win. And the other version, which is the harder version, is that does not produce as a win, but you can stay at the table and keep playing. It's a playable ball. In Top of the Valley, we play 10 ball the most prestigious way, which means that you cannot really win with a 10 ball. You can only use it to play. And that's what Jason Fink just did there. He used the 10 ball to keep playing. Hey Zane, yeah, I don't have their Fargos in front of me at the moment, but Jason Fick is a 580-ish player, and I think Tavo's like a 530 or 540, so they're pretty evenly matched. Jason having a little more, higher Fargo, but it's close enough that the match is even. I don't know for sure yet if we can buy the Salado racks, but they're in the process of being worked on. We're certainly making sure that people know they exist, and as that momentum gains, we will happily find a way to make that direction be positive. So as it progresses, we will see what that movement looks like. I assume at some point they will be available to buy, but certainly anyone in alignment with Solano can reach out to them and have a discussion about what that looks like. I know there's several racks out there that are really getting a lot of regard. The Magic rack obviously being the foundation rack that really was the first one, which is what everyone calls it. But then we've got the Fedora rack, which is obviously been taking a lot of momentum in a positive direction. And then Solano coming in with their rack. I have all of the racks. I have the Magic rack, I have the Fedora rack, and I have the Solano rack. And I feel like they each have their own things that make them so prestigious. Obviously, being such a proponent for Solano, you want to go Solano's, the best, and they're certainly among the best, if not the best. But let's be real with how captive and correct that Reed and Kobe at Solano are. They're not over there trying to sit on a high horse saying that so we're the best. No, we're in alignment with being the best with everyone else. And it's such a distinguished way to be that it's correct. And it certainly makes me and the commentators with my brand and so many other people, and all the other people that support Solano say the same things. It's such a high level of adjustments between each brand with their Magic racks that saying one is the best, it's like saying one pool player is the best. There's a lot of great pool players. We've got Shane Van Bonen, we've got Jason Shaw, we've got Fedor Gors, and on and on and on. But we've got these names of these players, and it's really just who's doing it better in those moments, what works better on your table? What works better for your brain? So yeah, I don't have an exact answer on where we buy them at the moment because the momentum is just now starting, but it is certainly shifting at such a high level. And all I can do is offer the most support possible for a brand that supports pool players and the entire billiards community in such a way that has so much powerful momentum. And I'm happy to be a part of all of it. I get up every day with enthusiasm. So yeah, thank you for the question, Zane, and that's the best answer I can provide at the moment. All right, so Tavo at the table. I think we're looking at a safety out of here. He gets the ball tied up behind the four, but there's a little room, and so there's possibilities for Jason. And so when we work on safeties, that's one of the things that we're looking for as well. Is that you want the cue ball to be tied up to the rail or tied up to the object ball that you were trying to put it behind, so you don't give the player the opportunity to do what Jason just did right there. But understanding the small movements and little percentages of execution it takes to do that consistently takes so much work and so much playing every day. And that's where the pros are playing 8, 12, 10, 14 hours a day. And speaking of like the pro, like Shane Van Boney, I saw an interview with him recently where he was talking about what his routine to warm up and stuff. He's like, I just get up in the morning and do the same thing. He describes it as robot consistency, and that's what it takes. And oftentimes that's how I even live my life. I do the same thing about the same time every day. But he's like, I get up, I do this, and then I go practice. I warm up for 3 hours where I'm going to play, and then I play all day. And then I'll usually play a little more. And then I go home. I eat a good meal. I take care of my hygiene. I take care of myself, and I go to bed. And there's no real magic like people want to think that there's this rock star lifestyle, and it really isn't. It's work. It's hard, consistent work. So Tavo not quite getting what he wanted out of that, but with a little focus, he could cut this all the way down the table, or he could look at a bank shot and multiple other things. Right now, I hear them laughing in the room. They're talking about, I think, how he's not exactly where he felt like he should have been with it. Nice shot to the side. So Tawa draws that back nicely, gets himself a little long, gets himself on the in rail though there. And that's one of those shots that you really have to master. He did a great job there too. So yeah, one of the big time road players, big time professional players in the 80s and 90s, and I don't know into the 2000s how much, but CJ Wiley, which everyone knows, one of the best players at shooting off the rail. And he said that was his one of his keys that made him so much better than the other players was the fact that he practiced shooting off the rail so much to get so good at it that he could do it better than anyone else. So every time someone wanted to safety him or try to control the table against him, where they put him on the rail, which is a big advantage for the reason of what a great 10 ball by Tavo. I get some clapping in the room for it. 8-4. We're still going here, ladies and gentlemen. But when you shoot off the in rail, you only get to hit the top side of the ball. So the ball's always rolling off center. So even if you hit it perfectly center, it still is trying to roll off center to some degree because we're humans and we have little nuances that aren't always perfect. And you can only control the top side of the ball. And even if you drive into it, you're driving the top side of the ball into the table, pushing it forward. And learning to do that to where you can't do it wrong is really key. And that's with everything in pool. As obviously do it so well that you can't get it wrong. However, that's one of those things to master to such a degree that you just get it right every time. And I will apologize for just a moment here. I'm going to have to take a very short commentator break, and I will be back in just a moment. All right, so TAVO here looking for a 1-9 carom shot or come off the 1 and into the 9, drop the 9 in the pocket. Oh, he actually used the fin of the 1 to do that. Also, very much a good opportunity for him to do something with it. All right, so 2 balls down table, 1 there. He's probably going to come inside angle to the 1, get it thin, and come 2 to 3 rail shape to the 2 ball. There he is. Very well done. Looking to 3 up to the corner pocket, which will lead to the 4 quite nicely. He's got to be careful of getting too thin or thick to line it to the 4 with the 3 shot because he wants to be able to hold shape or develop shape for the 5. I can't say I'm in agreement with what he did there. Maybe he has a better plan than I have. I'd like him to be a little straighter on the 3, so shape to the 4 would be cleaner. Okay, so I think what happened there was, yeah, he wanted to be where I was thinking too. He didn't get there, so he applied a safety, which is well executed. I mean, it's unfortunate though because this is a very manageable table to run, and when you're down 4 racks to a player that is a little more consistent than you, when you get this opportunity, you don't want to swindle it. So, something to think about as he just works on his focus and stuff. I hear noise from the other room. It sounds like Jason called that shot and made it. Tavo's excited, but I don't know if you should be excited if you're down 4 racks. But no judgment. All right, so cut the 3. He's going to soft hit this guy, I believe, to get shape on the 4. He does. He's going to run into a little bit of traffic. It's dangerous when you're running into traffic like that. He did use the 7 to slow down for the 4. Expect a draw shot here to shape the 5. How far it draws is going to matter what he does next. There he is. He's going to cut the 5, miss the 10. That's dangerous to miss, but he's going to look at it. Hopefully he can miss it. We'll see what he can. If he can miss the 10, he'll shape the 7, and he should be out. So if you miss the 10, don't impact the 10. Use the 10. Okay, he couldn't miss it, so he decided to use it. Now that is what we call a pool player shot. And when we use those terms, pool player shot, that means it's just a shot that only people that have spent a lot of time playing pool understand what to do with. and he drops that, and yeah, such a great way to get out on a good wreck, especially after he made such a great shot. And maybe a better way to say it, what Tabo had there was to celebrate a great shot. I was maybe a little more judgmental towards the rack difference, so I would like to correct myself and say that yeah, Tabo probably was the better man there and celebrated a great shot. So little correction for myself there. All right, so Jason picked a rack. He's up though. Let's see, 9-4. Always trying to be a champion for who's at the table. Really want Tavo to keep himself in this though. So, trying to manage the imbalance, but also want to be present with what the situation really looks like. So Jason Fick, racking 10 ball, trying to get to the hill. So going to be champion for who's at the table, always champion for the table. 2 racks to go for Jason Fick to remain the victor here. So Jason Fick, I don't remember exactly his score on top of the valley. Actually, I can go look here real quick and see. Let's see what this looks like here. 6-0. So Jason Fick is 6-0 on top of the valley right now, being the first place. Trying to get 7-0. Obviously, Tavo wants him down the list, and in second place, looking at 6-1. But Tavo's going to have to really start applying the work and getting the pressure on. Start to come up with different ways to say it. As these games kind of come together here, if Tavo wants to win, he's going to have to start buttering both sides of the bread very liberally and very correct to get back into this thing and start putting Jason on his heels. He's gotten comfortable. You can see Jason's body language is relaxed. He feels like he's going to do this. But Tavo can take that body language back from him by being the better competitor. And he has it in him. I've seen him do it, and I'm looking for him doing it here. He's going to have to bank this away. He's going to execute, but he's got to understand buying his time as well and understanding table control and how to do it better than Jason. Maybe he wasn't trying to make it. Maybe he was looking for a safety. I wasn't out there with him. It looks like he probably left Jason to cut. If he did, then Jason has all the angle. If he can cut the ball, he has all the angle he needs to get shape. That's the reality of what's going on here. I think he was too confident with the angle, to be honest. Because when it came up and hit the rail, that means that he had room to adjust. And maybe it wasn't enough room. Maybe it was. Hard to say from this angle. But it looks like he had enough room to adjust and could have got what Seven has done. So Tavo going for the safety. Barry behind the 10. Oh, and he gets it behind the 10. Champion Freeze at the table. He's at the table, and he got there. Gave Jason a little bit of a safety situation to deal with. I would expect Jason to jump this and re-safety, actually. But no, he's 2-rail kick. He's looking at a 2-rail kick to the side pocket. It's not a bad opportunity. It's there, and he hits it, almost gets it, almost scratches, bleeds out. Opportunity for Tavo though, but he really gets away. He does get away with it, but because the 2 balls behind the 6, if you see there up table, so even if Tavo makes the 1, he's still stuck in a problem zone. And then even if he does something with it, it's just he probably is better to safety. Let's see what he finds with it. He's probably better to safety right now. He's going to take the shot and see what happens. And that's what happens. That was one of the big concerns when you start looking at these tablets. You want to look at the balls deep into even early in the rack or deep in the rack. If you've got a 6-7 off angle that's just uncomfortable, or any situation that's uncomfortable, you know, here early in the racket, at least you can make a mistake with this table the way it is and get away with it. Get one, two opportunities to get back to the table, do some battling. He's going to jump this and try to get contact. It's a good one round jump contact. Gets it, misses contact. But see, now here's what happens though. That was an opportunity. If he had safety that, he would keep the table control. But since he didn't, he moved the six ball, opened the table up. Jason just has to worry about the four ball right now. So he's going to hit the two. He's going to come two rail shape to the three. But he's got to figure out the four. He can come forward and backspin it. He can come, two rail shape to the four. He could draw to the four here just like he did, but he's going to have to get creative. Not too creative, I guess, but he's got to. He's probably going to try to make the nine here if the four doesn't go. If the four goes though, it gives him the opportunity to get out shaping the five. If the four goes, it goes thin, and then he's got ball speed to shape the five. Otherwise, he has the nine, and he shapes it like this. And now he's created. He's got a. He doesn't like how straight this is. I know that just by what he's looking at. He doesn't like how he got straight because it got thick, and he's going to hit the ball really full. So the cue ball is going to absorb most of the speed and the spin, or the object ball will, and leave the cue ball stalling. So now he's got to overstroke or overhit the ball in such a way that creates situations down table. And he's trying to understand those situations as he's hitting the ball. So he got himself a look at the five, and if the five goes to the top corner pocket, it goes to multiple pockets. Okay, he's going for the side though. I thought he'd make it for the top corner and use two rail shapes in the six. If it cleans the six nicely, might be his better opportunity. But here he's going to go. That's what. Oh, so now he's looking at that. No, he's going to cut it, but let's see what he does to get shape on the six. Oh, he caromed it. Wow, that's bold. That's putting. That's just drinking straight coffee. Yeah, he's no creamer in that. All right, so off the rail to shape the seven. He's going to punch it and let it spin out. Oof, he got a little fast with it though. Confidence. Too much confidence on the front part of the stroke will do that to you. Gets away with it some though, because now the eight ball looks like it could be blocking the natural bank to the down right left corner, but he does get opportunity for the side pocket. You could thin cut this. Myself, I would thin cut this actually, just because as someone that plays a lot of one pocket, which means you have to hit to those corner pockets only for the way you're playing. You develop a skill to just be able to do that. Leaks it out potentially. It's really hard to see from this angle whether or not Jason can see that ball and make it. If Jason can see the outside edge of that six, we could be looking at something here. He thinks he can. Oh, he's got a jump cue. No, he's got a jump cue in his hand. He's going to jump cut this. It's his plan. Jason looking to get a jump cut in. He's going to have to land it a little early, get it thin with it. Oh, and he bumps into the seven. Scratches. It's like a double foul. Drives the cue ball down the table. Gives it back to TAVO. So now TAVO here, looking at this. I think TAVO should, take his ball in hand. He's looking at his seven ball. Actually, right now he's not even looking at the six. Now he's looking at the six. Because he's going to hit the six to the bottom right corner, I believe, looking for a nice top roll natural angle to the seven. He wants to put the seven in the side. Okay, so yeah, he's going to come under the seven he wants a top roll to the eight as well, and then take the drift of that to the nine or to the 10 ball, I believe. All right, let's see how that goes. So he gets to that part of it. Yeah, so now he can go up table with the cue ball after putting the seven in the side, shape the eight to the bottom corner, and just let it naturally shape the 10. Well executed plan. Let's not overdo anything. And we did not. Came up short, though. The angle's not what he wanted. He wanted to not have to do what he has to do now. He's going to have to hit it a little bit firmer to come off the rail and decide to do what he should have done. He did it great because I didn't want to put a commentator's little spin on that because at that point he needs to come across the table off that rail and not hold the ball. He did that really well. Pots that. Stays on the board. 5-9. Tells Jason, I'm not going away yet. All right, puts that Salado rack back on the table. The template rack might be looking at a little bit of a player break here. Let's wait and see. We've got the Salado towel. Nope, these gentlemen want to keep going at it here, and they will. Salado rack on the table. TAVO. Racking 10 ball, 1 in the front, 10 in the center. Top of the valley. Not doing 2 and 3 in the corner, but that isn't a thing that is making more momentum in the 10 ball game. BCA has adopted it. So as those rules adjust, at some point Top of the Valley might adjust and match him. And TAVO racked it that way anyways, either potentially out of habit or desire. And he is allowed to do that if he so chooses. Let's see what his break produces. He's got good power, ball movement, 8 on the side, 1 going towards the pocket. I can hear them saying, yeah, maybe in the room. TAVO likes that break. He gets shape out of it. Let's see how he deals with the 1. So he can draw the 1, draw off the 1, and shape it to the corner, or he can come through it to the other side. Where the 3 at matters. Right now, he needs to know where the 3 is and where it's going. For pool players to understand that what they're playing, that's what he's looking at right now. You see that? He's looking at where the 3 can go. If the 3 can't go, the 3-10 goes. Although the 3-10 doesn't get him a win, it pots the 10 back to the table and opens the 3 up to be shot. So if he wants to execute a good rack here, he's going to have to understand what this rack's going to take. So yeah, he chose to draw that direction, which is what I expected because shooting through it's a bit much. He's looking at shape to the 3. He thinks he's going for the 3-10. In his mind, I believe he's thinking, if I don't get shape, that's okay. I will just work on the safety. But you got to be careful of that. No, he doesn't like it. No one likes it now. The jump is tough because it's so close to the 6. Down table bank's kind of out. He's got the up table bank. He's going to have to look at that now. That's what he's going to look at. It's probably his highest percentage ability to hit the ball and do something great with it. I think he should be aiming this 3 ball over there by the 9 off the bank to control the speed of the cue ball behind the 7. His body was slightly in the way for me. I didn't quite catch that if he hit that clean or not, and he did not because he's hitting Jason ball in here. All right, so let's look at Jason's 7 now. So Jason's trouble area is the 6 ball. The 6 and the 7 are pretty close, but the 6 ball might go clean. That's what Jason's looking at right now. Where does the 6 go? Because everything else has a pocket. And he's going to deal with that right now. He's going to try to make the 3-6 and let the 3 clean itself up potentially, I think. Or safety. Maybe he's just going to safety. Okay, he's chosen to fight another day. That's a very smart 10 ball move. It really is. So he's left TAVO having to do this bank shot. He cleaned the 6 out. He tied the cue ball up to the 4. This is what makes great players hard to deal with, is stuff like that. And then he hands the opportunity right back to Jason. Now Jason's going to be considering the situation of the 4 ball. What pocket is the 4 ball going in to shape? The 5 ball, that's up table. I think Jason wants to try to put the 4 ball to the bottom right corner away from him. However, he's looking to see if it goes in the left corner because he's got to figure out which angle to shoot the 4 at to get to the 5 ball. Because the bottom right corner with the 4 ball gets tough because you start having to manipulate so much table speed control to shape the 5. So yeah, so Jason here, looking at the angle for the 4, I believe is what he's trying to figure out, trying to build that zone. I really like what he's little bit different opportunity that he was looking at there too, because most players or a lot of players are going to the corner pocket where he's standing right now with the 3 ball. But the control gets so much better here, and if he's going with the 3 ball to the bottom corner, his speed control would be much better as well. And he's still trying to figure that out. It's this such a tiny percentage here that he's looking at to figure out the 4, and it's not hitting the 4 to the pocket at all. It's 4 to the 5. He has to get the 4 to the 5 adjustment right, and I guess he couldn't find it. So that's what happened there. You see, he had ball in hand and a table that he could run out if he did it correctly. But his percentage adjustments he could not find. He could not find correctly, but he could find the availability to try again. And instead of doing any other thing, he took that option. That is a very smart pull. That is a very intelligent way to play pinball, which is what makes this game so challenging that so many players don't understand. Is making moves like that. It's a chess move executed well. And I'm not sure if that's TAVO 1-2. That was 3 foul. I did not catch that. Look at that. So there was a 3 foul execution by Jason Fick to put him on the hill. And 3 foul being, what I was speaking about a little bit earlier, where you get a foul out of the player. Usually the player fouls themselves first. Not always, but usually. So they get that first foul. And then you do a safety or execute in such a way that they have to do something very delicate or very low percentage to impact the ball, get a good hit. And if they don't get it, you get that second foul. And once you get that second foul, that's when you have to announce that to the player as you go into the third foul and say, "Hey, you're on 2." And then they go, "Okay," and then the pressure's on. Then it's real. It's really real. And so that's what Jason did there. He looked at that table out because I did not realize that they were on 2 and said, "Let me put you here and see if I get 3." That was actually just a mid percentage hit for Tavo. Tavo could have hit that or not, but either way, he didn't hit it. Jason told him it was on 2, obviously. And here we go. We're Jason's on the hill. Tavo needs 6. Jason needs 1. Tavo's at the table. I'm rooting for him to really start getting some momentum in his favor here. It's a tough thing to do to hold a player like Jason off for 6 racks, but it's certainly possible. It's in the wheelhouse of opportunities. Draw shot, safety here from Tavo. Did a great job. Tied him up. I don't think he tied him up, but left him close. Jason, being the ever distinguished competitor that he is, not going to let up here. Going to give it everything he has until the very end to make sure that he gets what he can out of it. He tried to spin the ball away from the 9, but didn't quite get the stroke into it. And that's the thing with that sort of shot that he's doing there too is you gotta kind of drive the ball slightly into the table so it spins early and kind of starts to carom or masse. Or I think masse is a better word to say that. And so it starts to masse very early and sort of spin around the ball. But if you don't get that downward force correct, it doesn't spin early enough, and you get that sort of contact there. So that's sort of why that contact isn't working this direction. All right, so Tavo at the table, 1 ball, 2 balls mid-table. He might try to drift under the 10, but I think he's going to try to draw shot this and clear the 4 to shape the 2. That's exactly what he does. Gets down table a bit much, but he's certainly within a manageable zone. So he's going to look at putting two on the side. He needs to be looking at the three. Might want to just safety at this point. Make Jason start doing some work. That might be the better option here, and that's what he's going to do. Yeah, that's well thought out, well done. Just because where the 3-5 is there, or the 3-7, and then it's the 3-7. It's just hard to manage from where he was. There's no point in dealing with that percentage of giving it away late in the rack to where you're just not going to do anything good or do anything well with it. So Jason's going to have to jump. He's got the jump bridge out. It's a taller bridge so that he can elevate the cue in such a way that he jumps it well, impacts the ball well, but he does scratch. TAVO making some noise saying he gets to get back at the table. TAVO knowing at any moment Jason could run this rack out, but looking up there at the 5-9 where that's sitting, you're stuck, I believe, trying to bank the 5 if you want it to go anywhere, unless you get ball in hand. So that's what you got to think about often when you're looking at the table at this time, is that where that 5-9 is, and then that 3-7, even with ball in hand where TAVO has, you hit the 2 to the corner, you hit the 2 to the side, you hit 3 to the corner, the 4 to the side. What do you do with the 5? At that point you can bank the 5 to the 6, which is a great opportunity to make that shot. But down 5 racks, how good do you get with it or not? I think you still have to work on it. I don't know what happened with the 6 ball there. At this point, I don't know what happened there. So I'm just going to let that one go and move on. All right. So maybe Jason was on 3 fouls that time, and I didn't catch that one. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's why TAVO got so excited there. Okay. I think I understand that now. When you're not out there seeing the players going, ball to ball or foul to foul, you don't always know the exact extent of where they're at with a 3 foul situation. But maybe we just saw 2 3 foul situations back to back, which is, yeah, it's kind of less seen, but it does happen. And here we go with it. So TAVO now 4 away from tying it up to go hill, and that's again those momentum shifts late in the games are big time. We see him in many games we play, especially with football. Here we are. This is potentially fourth quarter, could be third quarter, but it looks like fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, where yeah, we could see some points shifting around. But the touchdown ratio at the moment is certainly in Jason's favor. All right, so TAVO's break leaves him to look at the one. He's got a bank for the one ball. If he likes the line and the angle it plays at, he might go for it. But it's really close to a double hit line, so it comes off the rail and double hits. He probably not like that, but no, the bank. Yeah, I think that was true. I think he had a little bit double bank angle, but he got away with an attempt and still sort of got a safety out of him to give the Jason a look at the table. Might see Jason go one rail kick with inside right spin. Oh, it missed twice. Right. At this point, they're out there having fun with it too. I can hear him out there laughing that one off because boy, he got close both directions, but not much, and that's one foul. So now they're having a 3 foul battle apparently. So this has become something a little different for sure. All right, so TAVO's got him on one, gets him behind the 2. It actually is tough to hit this one ball. He could bank it. He can kick it. He can come off the long rail to the left. He's probably going to try to come off the long rail on the left side. But I think he's got to use some downward right spin, so it stalls and then spins heavy forward. He could counterstroke it with some left, but that's what he's looking at. He's trying to find that angle of how much he can get and then induce spin. All right, now yeah, he's going to the downward right, like I spoke of. Gets the hit. Oh, he misses two. All right, so now we've got a situation here for Tabo, which is it's a little more challenging because now the table's kind of open. The 7-8, if you see, look at the 7-8. I don't think the 7 goes. At least not past the 8. Probably goes up table, but now Tabo has to play some balls. I don't think there's a clean safety. The distance of the cue ball control gets away from me too easily for this one. So now that's where Tabo's going to work on coming downhill to shape the 2. I would maybe speculate that you might see another foul attempt when he gets to the 4 ball. And that's the thing. So if Jason's on 2 and Tavo wants to try to get another 3 foul, he has to start to know how he's going to do that now. Get ideas about it and keep adjusting those ideas. Really create an aspect of game of chess. So running into that 3, not optimal, probably not what he wanted. I think he wanted to be able to hit the 3 and then start using the 4. Because he's still at the point of not having a lot of ideal situations to tie stuff up. He might be able to kick the 3 towards the top left corner pocket and get the cue ball buried up behind the 10 or the 4. Come downhill with a cut shot draw and put it maybe over by the 7. I think he's just going to try to bank it and get to the 4 ball shot. No, I think he went with the option that I was speaking of first, which was getting it behind the 10. Which if he got that tied up better or got the timing right, would be great. But so now Jason on 2 is if he impacts the 3 and the 3 hits the rail, or the cue ball hits the rail after or any other ball, then he's off of he's in the safe space. So yeah, so Jason really just cared about getting safe into a safe space, a safe zone, but then also work on putting another safety on him. And that's what we see here. And with a table in this position, with the way the 4 and the 10 are sitting, and certainly with the way the 7 or 8 is sitting, you're not going to see a lot of shots happening. You're going to see a lot of opportunistic safeties. Because now we're back to another reset or restart on a 3 foul because no player wants to move the 7 and the 8. It's table control and do the work. All right, so Tavo there impacts the 8 or the 4 ball, moves it just slightly to tell Jason I fouled, although Jason knows he's just that's the distinguished or a way to say, hey, I agree. There you go. So now Jason's going to look at, he knows so now with the 7-8 where they are, it's still the same game here. Jason can eventually choose to take his 7-8 risk, but he's going to wait. I believe he's going to wait. He's looking for a ball tie-up safety here. He's got Tavo on 1. And like I said, usually when we're doing these 3 foul things, the player made the first mistake. So there's no point in him making balls. He's just going to try to tie him up and try to get number 2. Okay. I guess he chose that he liked what he saw there, and he's going to see what his 7-8 looks like when he gets there. And keep working on it. Now, the way he hit that ball and get that forward momentum stroke to go 2 rails to shape that, another pool player shot. It's a shot you have to be high level at as a pool player. So well executed by Jason there. Trying to put a little bit of more work into it. Didn't quite get what he wanted, but that 8 and 10 tying up just increased his safety numbers because of that right there. You execute that like that, and it's so difficult to get out. There's nowhere to jump hardly. There's nowhere you have to 2-3 rail kick, come up table, down table. All your angles and your spins have to have high percentage to them, and you have to put the work in to get it right. And he's going to come 2 rails to hit this ball. Tavo on 1, Jason doing work, trying to put him on 2. Nice kick. Doesn't hit. No. So, yeah, it puts Tavo on 2. Jason's now kind of look at this 8 ball. Decide if he's going to. He's already decided. He already knows he's going to safety. He's already figured that out. And he's going to push it right up on it again. Now, here is a shot where I have a jump cue that can jump parallel, and I've been working on this a lot so that I can just jump this and still hit that ball and not have to deal with this risk this way. And Jason knows that, and he factors that in when he plays me. And so I do get a little bit of a different look from Jason on some of these shots because he might not go for some of these with me with my ability to do that. And I'm still working on getting higher level at it, better execution, but I can jump this ball and hit that. And not many players can that haven't worked on it. I like this as a 3-rail kick shot. And go 3 rails, and that's what he's looking at right now. He's looking at 3-rail kick to hit that 7 ball. His percentage is pretty high to hit it here. Let's see if he gets it here or if this is. He does not get it. That means Jason Fick wins on the hill on a 3-foul after they had multiple 3-foul battles back and forth. That is just fantastic. All right, congratulations, Jason Fick. I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank Salado, Dinosaur Balls on the table, Evo Sports. This is Distinguished Billiards. I've been Greg Jensen, and I'd like to wish you all a very good evening. And thank you all for being a part of or watching Top of the Valley and everything you've done. They're going to shake hands like the gentlemen they are. Thumbs up, Salado, and they are out. You guys have a great evening.